What's up, everybody? It is Brandon LeCaren here, and today I wanted to do a second video on the benefits of owning and buying real estate. There's so many benefits of owning and buying real estate that the government incentivizes us to really own real estate. And if you guys missed my previous video, go back and take a look at it. Hit the subscribe button below, by the way, guys. Would love to see you guys come back to our channel. So anyways, let's jump into it. If you missed this video, like I said, if you missed the first one, go back and take a look at it. Some great information in that one. And so let's jump into it. So in addition to all the other things I talk about, the government also incentivizes us to own real estate by giving us residential energy credit. And what that means is essentially when you replace windows or when you get solar panels or, get things that could essentially help with your utilities and help your, carbon footprint, if you will, they give you tax credit. And this is going to vary by state depending on the programs that they have. But it could be a really good thing that continues to really help you guys get multiple tax write-offs. So if you get a more higher energy efficient HVAC system, if you get solar panels, like I said, if you get roof tiles, if you get more installation, all these things could be sometimes written off dollar for dollar and reduce your tax liability that's coming in. So it makes a strong incentive to go ahead and want to make your home more energy efficient, especially when you get a dollar for dollar credit. And like I said, guys, in the previous video, I'm not a tax accountant. I'm not an attorney, so definitely consult with your professional. This is not advice of any kind. I'm just kind of raising these issues, if you will, so that you can go talk to your professional about it. So definitely look into residential energy credits, so energy credits. The next thing is depreciation, right? So depreciation is probably one of the coolest things with real estate. It's amazing. So what they allow you to do is essentially if you do cost segregation, which is probably the best way to depreciate a property, you can get a massive tax benefit by doing that. So if you own a property and you decide to depreciate the asset, basically the IRS tax code gives you the length of time that a property is supposed to be, the life cycle of it, right? Give you the life cycle of the property. So for commercial property, it's about 40 years, and for residential property, I think it's 27 and a half years. Again, don't quote me on these, double check it. But what you can do is depreciate the building value across those years and take it in every single year. And you could take that depreciation every single year for 27 and a half years or 27 years, whatever it is, or 40 years for a commercial. And what that allows you to do is it's a direct write-off on your taxes. Now, there's something called cost segregation, and that is it allows you to take a higher percentage in the first or second year, and it gives you more benefits. So ask your tax accountant, ask your real estate, tax attorney about really how can you utilize tax, depreciation to offset what your tax liability is. It's a great way when you own real estate to depreciate the asset, especially if your intent is to hold it for a longer period of time. Now, if you depreciate the asset, then there sometimes is what's called recapture. And recapture is them saying hey, look, you guys depreciated this, you got all these tax benefits, but then you sold it early, and now you have to kind of repay some of those taxes because you got all those tax credit. So be careful when you're doing the cost segregation part, because then if you don't own it for a certain period of time, they could recapture that in that. So depreciation. Number 3, loan programs, right? So the cool thing about real estate, guys, is it's not like stocks, right? And I've said this before. It's not like stocks or gold or silver. For instance, if you have $1 million right now and you want to go buy $1 million gold, deposit or whatever, a brick or something, whatever it costs. Let's say you were to go buy gold or silver or whatever, you need $1 million. You need that all that $1 million, right? Now, let's say you were to buy real estate, you do not need $1 million. Because there's loans, right? So with loans, it's so cool because you can control $1 million asset, you can control $1 million building, $1 million property, for as low as 5% or 10% with a conventional loan, right? Maybe FHA, they'll do 3.5%, and but the cool thing about that is that it's exponential, because let's say you put down even 20%. Let's say you did a conventional loan, you bought it, and you put down 20%, $200,000. The returns are not based on the $200,000. It's based on $1 million because that's the value of the property. So when the value of the property goes up, you don't get, it doesn't just affect, if it goes up by 8%, it's not just 8% on $200,000. It's 8% on $1 million, right? So that's what's really cool about real estate. It gives you the ability to control a larger asset with a little bit of money. And that's what, to me, like one of the best benefits of buying real estate is you do not need a lot of money. You do not need a full $1 million to buy it cash. And you can control it for as little as 5 to 10%, depending on the loan size, right? Or even 3.5%. And sometimes those programs even have overlays where if you're a first-time home buyer, the government will give you grants as a first-time home buyer to go ahead and buy it for no money down because they'll do a silent second. So loan programs are a great way. Loans, just amazing, especially because it allows you to control more for less money. So check those out. So the other thing too that we have is local incentives. With owning real estate, there are things called, there's opportunity zones. And opportunity zones, so I'll just call it local incentives. Hopefully you guys can understand my writing. So local incentives allows you to really buy real estate and not have to pay a lot in taxes. So typically when they're redeveloping a city or a town or a county, they want to provide incentives in a certain area. So investors will go into those areas because they could get tax credits if they invest in those areas. So you see it in parts like when they're maybe trying to reestablish an art district, they may make part of it an opportunity zone. An opportunity zone basically gives you a ton of tax credits. The government even has loan programs that they would lend specifically on those assets. And guys, this thing gets bigger too because there's things that I forgot what it's called, but basically there is a program in which like foreign investors can invest in quote unquote opportunity zones in certain area, and if they invest a certain amount of money in those areas, whether it's mostly real estate or businesses, they can get their green card. So there are companies out there and there are people out there, funds like we're starting, and they basically like go after they call it green card green card basically investing, right? Because you're essentially investing $1 million into a specific area and you can get a green card. It's a great way to, really if an investor wants to move to this country, they could buy assets and then they can, go ahead and get their green card. The other thing too with local incentives is, they reduce certain, property taxes for periods of times. There's grants for down payments. There's assistance programs, SBA loans. But essentially, it just makes it more appealing for investors to want to redevelop those areas and invest there. And again, if you need the tax break, if you need the tax credit, it could be a great way to look into and look at. They're called opportunity zones. There's opportunity zones for every state. You can look at the map online. You search opportunity zone. So these incentives, guys, are really cool, and they're just some of the benefits in real estate, right? They are really there to kind of help push you guys and make you a better, wealthier person. Now, maybe I'll do a video on why the government doesn't want you to own real estate, but for now, they still have these benefits for you guys. So remember, go back and look at the other video I did. This was sort of a shorter one to kind of just finish up the other one because it was pretty long. But anyways, let me know if you guys have any comments. Hit that subscribe button below, like, follow, comment, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.